Welcome to another edition of the Nightly Nuge. Our guest all week is John Stubbins from Indivisible. And later in the week, John, I can't wait to hear about a documentary you're working on. I think we'll make our listeners stick around until Friday to get to that. But Ted, Saturday morning, you and I talked on the phone for over an hour. We were both just sipping on our coffee, looking out over our respective ranch and farm. And one of the topics that we talked about at length was the border, and not in the traditional sense of the border, because we were talking about the war in Ukraine. We talked about how China seems to be getting a strong foothold all across the country. And we talked about how we used to always feel safe in America because we knew that our military was able to protect our borders. And literally all of the wars that we fought since the Civil War have been not on American soil. But you raised a very good point this weekend that I want you to share with our listeners, and then we'll get John's take, that if war does break out, a truly World War III breaks out, you fear that that may be fought on our own soil. Tell our listeners about that.
Well, number one, I'm in touch with the heroes of the military every day, literally every day. Delta Force, Special Ops, Army Rangers, Green Berets, Navy SEALs. Unnamed commando forces. I actually train with them out here. That's why I seem so buoyant, because I hang around with true warrior heroes, the best that God has ever made in the human species. And they are heartbroken because our military leaders in the United States, General Mark Milley and Lloyd Austin, they are an embarrassment. We have military leaders that are men dressed up like women, authorized, perverted, transsexual, homosexual, drag queen events on our military bases. It can't get more decrepit, more evil, more anti-security than that. And here's the real fear from all of these heroes. Our borders are open, and we are being invaded by Somalians that hate America, Nigerians that hate America, Iranians that hate America, Iraqis that hate America, Mexicans and Guatemalans and Salvadorians that hate America. We have Chinese. We have military-age men from China, our avowed enemy, invading our country in broad daylight and being processed. Military-age men from all around the world, known enemies of America, and Uncle Sam processes invaders. My friends, I know you're here at the Nightly Nuge, and we thank you for being here. But you need to tell everybody there is a Nightly Nuge, and I don't play games, I don't mince words, and I'm not afraid of anybody. When I identified General Mark Milley as a treasonous punk, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and again, I've said this and I'll keep saying it, he said live on television, I called the military leaders of the Communist Chinese military and let them know that I would personally warn them what our plans are. How could that fat slob not get tackled and put in a straitjacket in a cage someplace? And then Lloyd Austin, who keeps saying that white rage is the biggest threat to America when China has a 200 million man army. They have more weapons. They are catching up nuclear. Putin is already nuclear superior to the United States. All you have to do is watch the Donald Trump interview with Tucker Carlson, where he identifies the clear and present danger of a nuclear war on the precipice because we are supplying unlimited billions of dollars in military hardware and military to a drag queen sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, money laundering stooge of the Biden family named Zelensky in the Ukraine. Anybody want to debate me on that statement? Bring it on. The Michael Moore fan club is still struggling for a syllable when they try to debate me. So John Stubbins, you do a podcast. You have your program on the Hunt Channel. You are aware of these facts. I'm not pulling this stuff out of my ass. Everything I just said has been confirmed by boots on the ground, hasn't it, John?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And not only that, I would advise everybody, if you live in the state of Texas, which I know you guys do. So look, I'm going to tell you, get behind Chip Roy's bill.
Yes.
Chip Roy has a bill up right now that you can, it's a call to action. People always say, what can I do? Here you go, folks. here's what you can do. Call Chip Roy's office and get behind his bill. And here's what his bill does. His bill classifies the cartels as foreign terrorists. And if we can classify them as foreign terrorists, it changes what we can do to them. Okay? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, John and Keith, let me intervene here. I'm doing a big rally in Austin, Texas on the 29th of April, this month. On the 29th, we have created legislation called Border Force, where civilian, law enforcement, and military are finally authorized to do the obvious responsibility of turning invaders back. Let me be perfectly clear. If you invade my property, I will give you the chance to go away, and if you don't, I will shoot you. That should be the policy in the United States of America. If you come illegally, we will give you the chance to turn around and go away. If you don't, we should shoot you. Well, that's outrageous. Yeah, it's outrageous because it's called national security. And
yes.
Right now, Uncle Sam has abandoned its number one responsibility of securing our borders, and we are being invaded by people that hate us, and they are being trained and supplied by our government. Anybody from the government want to debate me on that? Bring it on.
And let me just add one more thing to that, Ted. And this is very important. You mentioned about all of the people that are being processed. We're not even talking about the people that are not getting processed.
Right.
In other words, they're getting through without being caught at the border. Okay. And those people, we've already proven that they're coming from over 99 different countries, and all of them are not Mexico. Okay. Some of these are from the Middle East. And these are people that want to maybe employ an EMP attack, which Dr. Peter Pry and I went over, or maybe you see they're going after the electrical grids all over the country, or the water supply. God knows what.
Food processing plants are burning everywhere.
Exactly. You add all this up. This is not by coincidence, folks. This is not by coincidence. Rest in peace, Dr. Peter Pry. He was the expert on this. He just passed away not too long ago. But Dr. Pry gave me so much knowledge on what to look out for in this country. And these people in Washington, they don't know what they're doing. And Ted's right. Millie and these guys, they are idiots. They are idiots at the controls, and they would see us die.
John, let me ask you this final question. Ted's already said he thinks if there's a shooting war, that with all these military-age men that have come across our border, that there's a real threat that happens here in America. What do you think?
I think so. I mean, how can it not be? I mean, we don't even know what the numbers are, but if you look at the illegals that they have processed, it's in the millions. Okay. We can't even guess what the numbers are that we haven't caught, that have gotten through and not been detained in any way. It's in the millions, folks. Look, do not wait until this comes to your door. Get behind Chip Roy's bill now. Call Congressman Chip Roy's office in Texas today.
Keith and John, let me summarize it thusly. This is why they're trying to disarm us. This is why they are orchestrating mass shootings. This is why they are not prosecuting violent criminals that use guns in crime, but they're going after our privately, legally owned guns in America. Go to tednugent.com, get this flag, put it on your truck, put it on your vestibule, put it on your front lawn, put it on your front door. This is available at tednugent.com, and this says it all. If they want a shooting war, Uncle Sam is trying to disarm America so that the enemies of America can win. Do not comply with infringements on our Second Amendment. Go to tednugent.com and make a stand.
Amen.
Ted, you'll sign all those flags, don't you?
You know, a lot of them are signed, and some of them just have the Ted Nugent script on it. But there is a very special hat that pretty much addresses all the problems in America, and I'll only show part of it right here. But this hat is also available at Ted. And has become the defiant battle cry of America because the man who thinks he's the president right now is an evil, feeble, criminal demon. Our government is controlled by Satan, and Joe Biden or whoever's behind that mask is doing the bidding of Satan to destroy America. And if people think that's outrageous, then have a nice time. Maybe we can invite you to the Bataan Death March or the Trail of Tears, or maybe the Rape of Nanking, and you can have a party in those conditions.
Well, tomorrow night, fellas, I want to talk about, do we really have equal justice under the law? And I know our guest, John Stubbins, has a strong opinion on this because he's working on a documentary that's going to blow the socks off of you. Tomorrow night, we'll talk about that right here on The Nightly Nooch.
Say yowza.